okay, I forgot to ask you this. So we talked about how you got into jujitsu, how
I know. I'm so sorry. I totally
oh
forgot.
no, no, it's this is honestly how like 90% of my interviews go. That's why I always tell everyone like, look, this is not just gonna be a straight up jujitsu, because again, I feel like the part that we do on the mat is really a very small part in the overall person who is in jujitsu. I like to know about all those little other things, like you taking kids in to help them, like that's a part of someone else's journey, therefore it's a part of your journey. I like learning that stuff about people. So how did you stumble about the Mighty Dames?
So I had, gosh, this was,
On oh, we'll be celebrating our third year coming up.
yeah, I was to say, yeah, because it was pretty early on into my journey. I've been doing it 4 years, so I want to say it was
Mhm.
probably about about a year in. Rob, you know, he I remember he used to tell me, because again, this is when I was like the only girl, and the few
Mhm.
girls did do kickboxing with me that agreed to come do jujitsu with me. They did it for a little bit and then they didn't come back. Um,
Like,
uh,
nah, I'm good.
yeah, and I mean, it is what it is, but it's not. It's one of those things where I feel like you either love it or hate it, but even
Mhm.
when you hate it, you, what's that saying? You got to get comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And that was the biggest reason it was on my bucket list, is because
Mhm.
I'm a hugger. I'm a hugger. Like, I'm a big huggy kissy kind of person, but being all up in my space,
Completely different. Completely different.
totally different, nope. Like,
The
it's
first time you get like a mounted triangle, you're like, oh, this is my life now. Oh God. Yeah.
yeah, or there, no rash guard underneath the gi, and I'm just like, oh, gosh, okay. The first time I
Yeah.
swallowed someone's sweat, oh my gosh, it was
Oh,
so,
oh,
yeah.
oh. We talked about this in the live chat. About like my biggest pet peeve. And again, like I am not here to body shame anyone, man or female. But when dudes are particularly hairy and they don't want to wear a rash guard, and like their chest hair swipes across your face, or they have like a really thick beard, and like we're in the South, we got some country boys. They have like a full ass beard, and it sweats and it just wipes across the side of your face.
Yes,
That is, I have never been more like affirmed as a lesbian than when
I've
I've had a
sneezed
beard
from a,
come across my face.
yeah, I've sneezed before from a beard. They were, I think we were in like an attempt at North South.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I was rolling with one of our white belts, but he's a big guy, like
Mm-hmm.
big guy. And he kind of came around, and I think he realized that when he was doing it, he was kind of slipping off, because I think sometimes guys forget, those of us women that are heavier chested, like, you know, north south, you got to get a good solid grip under there,
Yeah, yeah,
that gable grip, and you have to adjust your pressure, or else you're
yeah.
just sit on top of
Mm-hmm.
my chest,
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
and I have room to breathe. Give me.
yeah,
So
yeah.
he was kind of like trying to figure out why I wasn't choking, and why it wasn't quite working. And when he went to turn to look down, his beard, the bottom of his beard, got in my nose, and my just that first reaction, when somebody like like where you get something to
Yeah.
tick. I was just like, and I sneezed on him. I was like, oh, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. My hands are stuck down here. I didn't know what else to do. So yeah, I mean, it happens.
Yeah.
But it's that moment of getting over that, getting
Mm-hmm.
that close to someone. Yeah, it's definitely, not that it's not for everybody, like you said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
It's it,
It,
it's a
it
different.
takes some people longer and in
Yeah.
different circumstances. Like we have some women at our gym who they had to do, and we have some of the kids, some of the men like this too. They have to stick with their gender first
Yes.
for comfort level before they. And I always tell people, male or female, don't give anyone too much slack if they don't want to roll with you for your gender for comfort reasons. If they're not comfortable with it, that's their own thing. Now, if they're just being jackasses, but like there's some people
Yeah.
who like they just don't feel physically comfortable in that position. And me, even now, I think I'm going on 5, 6. I don't know. I've been here for a minute. Every now and then when it's like brand new people who I don't know, I'm just like, okay, let's do this.
Yeah. Yeah. In the beginning, and that's kind of how it was in the beginning. Is, Rob told me, he was like, grown men are not going to let you manhandle them.
Yeah.
And I was just
Girl.
like, back then I was what's the word? Challenging? A little. Um, I was in a real like kind of place with, because I felt like I wasn't learning anything, and then I had to keep pausing because of the strokes and stuff, and so I just felt like I wasn't going anywhere. Like it just was. I wasn't progressing. I wasn't. Things weren't sticking, and there was a whole new vocabulary of words like.
Oh, we'll go
That I,
back on this vocabulary.
yeah, like I think that should be like a fundamental thing or something. Like in
I
class,
cannot remember the
even in
names of anything. I have
oh
certain.
everything. There was the knee slice. We kept calling it at the time Beyonce, that song, that surfboard song was out, and you know how you kind of have to pop up with your knee and
Yeah.
knee slice over. So I kept calling it the surfboard, the Beyonce. I kept saying the Beyonce, and the gosh, what was the other one? The Granby rolls,
Hmm.
over the shoulder, Barambola, like the
Yeah,
Barambola
yeah, yeah.
stuff.
I don't do that.
Yeah, well, it took me a while, but like panda rolls, we called them panda
Yeah, yeah.
rolls because that's what we look like. There was another one that was you're on your back and you're kind of twisting, but you're going
Mhm.
across on your back. In the military, they call it something else, but for us, we called it the Selena, the washing machine.
Yes.
So I would
The
have
washing
like all these
machine.
different names for stuff, or like even we were drilling when you're in mount and you go, it's not a cross collar choke, but it's like an X choke, right? And so you're in
Yeah.
mount, reach under, and then you kind of wrap
From
your hand.
across. And yeah.
Yeah, so my coach was like, you got to pass her pineapple because I had this big old butt, so we call it pass the pineapple. Like that's just
See,
kind of
your
what.
names are better than mine. Most of mine include curse words. So there's certain moves, like, and this is the thing, like, I always say this, I believe, I will agree with this, what my coach told me is like, you need to know how to do everything, even if you don't do it.
Yeah,
Like, as far as me being one of the upper belts and needing to show someone else, I need to learn how to do it. That does not mean I like it. So there's like several takedowns. I have no idea what the name are. I have one's called bullshit one and bullshit two.
yes,
It is so deeply ingrained that everyone automatically knows what we're talking about. And they're like, oh, so we're gonna do this. Like, oh, here we come with this bullshit again.
yeah,
And my coach Brian, he looks at me like, Tori, do not start. It's like, okay, fine, I'm gonna do it, but we know how it's gonna turn out. And
yeah.
like, sometimes I have to like turn off my own filter and be like, okay, we're gonna give this. I'm gonna give it full effort. I'm really gonna try, and it still goes around. It's like, see, it's that bullshit.
Effort.
Yes. And
Yeah.
there's like a handful of moves. I'm like, I hate this so much. Like, I don't like arm bars from
Oh, thank you.
guards.
Yes.
They're
See,
trash.
I have so there's two arm bars. There's two arm bars that I'm kind of the same way where it's like fuck this and fuck this too. Like, like oh gosh, and it's just that fundamental thing. And don't get me wrong, I'll do them if I have
Yeah.
to. The way my knees are, the twist,
No.
the torn ligaments and stuff from mount,
Nope.
even from the bottom, it's just not. I don't know. It's just,
It's
and everybody knows. It's so funny because my coaches now know, my coaches from before know. I just don't. They're not my favorite. They're not my
no.
favorite, and I just don't like them. I will do them. I will drill them. I will whatever. But I just don't prefer them. They're not my.
No.
They're
They're not a go-to.
and mount. Honestly, quite honestly,
No. I prefer side control or
under
half guard.
yeah, I don't see, and not even for me, not even I love to be able to pass guard and side control. I
Yeah.
will do whatever I need to from side control. I spent a lot of time on my back in the beginning
Hmm.
to be able to learn how to defend.
Hmm.
Learn closed guard, open guard, like all that stuff.
Yeah.
Like it's just not, mount is not. And I think too, because in my head, because the guys were so much taller a lot of
Mhm.
times, and just squigglier a lot
Yeah.
of times. I would sit and mount, and a lot of times I would try to sit over their waists. Um,
Yeah.
and they're, when you're bigger, you kind of teeter totter. Like I found
Mhm.
myself tottering a lot, because even women now, they'll tell me, or even some of the guys, they'll, if they're shorter or if they're smaller, my midsection, I'm a chunky monkey, so
Mhm.
like kind of teeter tottering. So
Yeah.
you kind of had to learn. I had to learn high mount early on,
Yeah.
and to go from high mount or even S mount, my knees
Mhm.
aren't strong.
Yeah, see, I'm not good with that S mount either. My knees as well.
Yeah. So I've torn the LCLs and the MCLs. So just
Mm, I got that MCL, a dislocate. Do you know you could dislocate a kneecap?
yeah,
I did not know that.
I've broken my patella and I've
Oh
dislocated my
God.
patella twice. Like, to the point where we had to go. Like, one was way before I started training. One was during training, and we went to the hospital, the emergency room. They tied a sheet around my ankle and had one of my kids lay across me, and the other person that was with us lay across me, and they just had to just like pull it, and you could
Ooh.
my kneecap move over. Yeah, and I used to be a runner. Like, I used to run a lot and cross country way long time ago. So I always think, between that and basketball, and then now
Girl.
trying to do things, it's
I
like
I
my,
dislocated mine in a competition, and like on like a really hard sprawl. They did not get the takedown, so I'll take it. And I just knew something was wrong. I was like, I'm just gonna ice it. I went to the doctor. They're like, oh yeah, it's a partial kneecap dislocation. You have a minor tear in the MCL. And I'm like, my first thing was like, wait a minute, you're telling me the kneecap is actually a thing? That's not like just one of those words.
yeah,
Like, and
there,
they're like showing you. It's like, oh shit, it's like a little piece. It's just
floating.
oh, that was so creepy. I don't want to. I didn't. That's one thing I did not need to know. That just like it fucked with me for a really long time because I did not know knees did that. I don't know what I assumed was in there, but that messed with my brain.
You quickly,
Um,
that's why I say, between catch wrestling, but also jujitsu, but even like just pivoting and Muay Thai, when you throw kicks and stuff, you quickly,
mhm.
like, I knew nothing about anatomy, but I would have to go back to look at, like, I need to understand why when I throw this lead leg kick that
It's
stuff's hurting, or
yeah.
things that I was like, I don't remember that hurting before. Why is it hurting? So yeah,
I
so,
yeah.
so yeah, I had already gone through that whole, like, they're not going to let you manhandle them, and there were very few women at the time, and so I literally looked up big girl BJJ.
And our thing is big girl BJJ
Yeah,
too.
I looked up the hashtag. I looked
Yes.
up the hashtag, and I think, just, and back then I was like, somebody's got to be out there, like, somebody.
Yeah. There's gotta be one. Just
Yeah,
one.
and then Mighty Dames popped up, and I was like, come here, okay, let me check this out. Let me look at this, and
Serious.
I ordered the car sticker and the
Mhm.
patch, um, which at the time, I think I only had one other patch. It was my Girls and Geese patch at the time.
Yeah, we
So
got the spot.
yeah, so I was like, I'm gonna see what they're about, see what all, and then I started reading more and more, and then I started seeing your posts, and I'm like, there's other people out there. There's other
Yes.
people out there. Like, there's other women. They may not be in my city, but
Yeah,
it's
they exist.
yes, but they are out there. They
Mhm.
are out there. And then the more I started going to competition, well, tagging along to the competitions at
Mhm.
first, I would go watch. I would specifically go look for the white belt. I didn't care what age they
Yeah.
were, but white belt, female, super heavy, and heavyweights, and I'd go check them out and be like, there's only like two of them, but I just,
Yeah.
they're there.
That
Yeah,
yes.
and about weight classes. So
Yep.
more, like I said, I didn't know anything about IBJJF either. So just the more and more I started studying, and that, my coaches started talking to me about it, and then when I finally just kind of threw down the gauntlet to myself and said, I'm gonna compete. Like, I'm just gonna it. It
Fuck it,
was
I'm gonna do it.
Yeah, and it was one, like I said, I didn't go into it to be in the ring for Muay Thai. I didn't go into it to try to compete or be a world champion. I didn't start any of this stuff. I started because I was in a very, very bad place. I was it was bad, and I needed something. I passed out the first day after warm-ups. Got taken home in an ambulance. Like, it showed up the next day.
That's
Still
not
showed up
funny,
the
but
next day.
Jesus.
That's kind of how it all started. So it was like, I know there are people out there that do this. I don't know much about it, but I'm gonna learn as much as I can. I'm kind of like you in that sense. I'm not a great student, but I absorb. I like to read
Hmm.
and I absorb a lot of stuff. And I like the feel good stories, but I like the struggle stories too.
Yeah.
I feel like if
I
those
like,
people can, if other people can do this shit, like I can do it too. Like I can do it.
yeah.
And I've always been, my parents have always been like that. Like the first time after my second stroke that I opened a water bottle, I text my mom. This is just definitive of how my childhood went. I text my mom and I was like, "Mom, I opened a water bottle." I was at PT and I was like, "I opened a water bottle." She was like, "Great, good job. Do it again."
Yep. Like, good job. Let's open another bottle.
Yeah, yeah, and that kind of, that type of attitude, and then, the gee the fuck up attitude
Hmm.
was the kind of the mantra going forward after the stroke. So yeah,
I
it's just,
think,
and that's how I found it. Yeah, I found it because I
yeah.
knew, like, I was like, there are people out there, I know it, and
I
then
am
the first
searching.
one,
I will find these people.
yeah, yeah, and I
Well,
think I think you were the first one that I reached out to, and then I think there was
was I like annoyingly chipper? Like,
uh
extremely chipper? Like, oh my God, hi.
no, I
It's,
think you were just like, hey, I commented on something. I think it was something in the comments, and
yeah.
and then I got a shirt. At some point, I got a shirt.
That's how it
Uh,
works. She's like, ah, get such. I have
yeah,
so many shirts.
yeah. I think I posted it and then and tagged it and stuff, and that's gradually too how to other people at the
Hmm.
church. I was like, hey, you should go check out this, the Mighty Dance, and
Yay.
or I would tag women or share the link and be like,
Hmm.
go check this out at Girls and Geese events too. I would just be like, there's a whole group of us. We are out there. I promise you. Like,
Yes. That's what I love me some girls and geese and thanks to Shama and Sway. They've been really behind the Mighty Dames too. And they've been supporting our mission. I remember getting like a she won't care if I say it. I remember she sent me a message one day and she's like, I get it. I get what you're doing. And I think it's from Shama. She's like, I get what you're doing. I think it's great. And I'm glad that women can relate to. And as like a blue belt at the time, I'm having one of the leaders of Girls and Gee comment to me about a side project I'm doing. I was like, oh shit, this is never gonna end. Don't stop, won't stop. Let's keep this ball rolling. That was such the motivation.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
but
And your posts at the time were so motivational. Like I don't even know where you were coming from. You were doing, those positivity posts, and you were
yeah,
doing a lot of the, you know, um, it's not that we're shaming smaller people. It's
no,
we out here too, homie. Like
it,
we all, and we embrace everybody. Like
yeah.
I
We
think
gotta we have a few people who are not heavyweights who are like active
they
in
do.
our group.
One of my guy friends has a Mighty Dame shirt. Like he
Yes.
rocks a Mighty Dame shirt. So, and he's a rooster. He's a rooster. So
the
it's one of those
smaller the smaller
matter.
people are really behind us. I think because
Yeah.
they kind of have that plight too, being really tiny.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one of the things I said, and I did a after the first year or so, I actually adjusted how I was commenting on the Mighty Dames because I like again, I am all for being positive and like putting that good energy out there, but kind of like you were talking about how like those struggle stories also resonate,
Oh,
and I had to make sure that whether I it's still weird to say it, but like whether I wanted to be or not, I became a voice in this space.
yes.
So I wanted to show, like you see my timeline, like I have some bad days and I share pictures of bad days that I'm having. You'll see some of my clips where I'm doing some awesome stuff. You'll see other stuff where I'm just getting my ass kicked.
Yeah.
And that goes back to that whole balance mentality I was trying to think of. It's like I want to push out positivity as much as I can, but I also want to show that through these bad times I'm having, like today was a really, really crappy day. But you
Yeah.
know what? Today's over. I'll try again tomorrow. And a lot of the other women in the group have shared that same mentality, which I think has been, it's really nice. It's nice to be in a group of people who get it on such a basic level. And I feel like most women in jujitsu kind of have that connection. That's why you see like a girls and gis kickoff so popular. But we've grown to a size now in the sport that we can have these individual niches, which in it's not just women doing
Yeah.
jujitsu, like how we had the older women really like stepped up to get more
Yeah.
weight class, I mean to get more
Yeah.
age brackets. And like no one else was doing that. It was the older women's like, hey, we have a right. We need a space for us. We want to compete there. And they pushed and they got it.
6, 5, whatever.
Yeah. Which is
That was
amazing.
them and that one gentleman. They
Yep.
pushed to have it, and I didn't even and seeing stuff like that. Like I don't know a lot of the history
Mm-hmm.
of like IBJJF or
Yeah.
competition or the women in jiu-jitsu, which I probably should know more,
Oh,
honestly.
girl, I'm terrible. I rarely even watch jujitsu.
I, I
I'm really bad at
tear it
that.
apart. I go to sleep to flow grappling a lot of times, or glory kickboxing, or ONE FC, and it's just because I like to absorb.
Yeah.
Like to absorb, um, but also I like watching other people compete
Mm-hmm.
because
I
sometimes
need to.
they do small stuff.
Mhm.
I'm like, hmm,
Okay.
hmm.
So sell me on why I should just get the flow grappling because I have been on the edge like 5 times in this
Well,
month. Like,
okay, I'm
am I
probably
gonna get it?
I'm
I'm not
probably
gonna
not
get
the
it.
best person because I am on a family plan with a homie.
Gotcha.
So,
I
and it,
didn't know. I thought you could go month by month, but you can't. You have to buy the
no,
whole year.
no, you don't let you go month by month. You have to do like the whole thing. And he was the one that we were going to his house and we were watching a lot of like the Submission Underground and a lot of that stuff. The EBIs and things
Yeah,
like
yeah.
that. And so I was like, he was like, well, why aren't you watching? I'm like, oh, I'm not like, I'm
Man,
not.
160
I was like,
pounds.
I'm trying to pay for flow grappling over here. Like, I rather not. And he was like, well, here. He was like, get on my family thing, and we'll all watch it. That way, we can talk about it together, and we can
Yeah.
kind of compare notes.
Yeah.
Not just notes, but just we would be able to go to class the next day and just talk a little bit, and then
Yeah.
afterwards, see what he did. Like, I think this could work. And
Mm-hmm.
what I love about not just the people that I train with and our coaches, but they recognize and I've been so blessed to have coaches like this, but they recognize like, okay, what I'm trying to show or what the something that I'm trying to show the class, it may not exactly work with I'm going to use me as an example. It may not work
Mm-hmm.
with our body type, but
Mm-hmm.
let's figure this out. Let's figure this out and let's figure
Yeah.
out how we can adjust and what feels good and what feels natural for me that maybe I could modify it a little bit. It's still the same thing, right? But it's
Mm-hmm.
a little modification because my knees are bad or because
Mm-hmm.
I don't like sitting in mount or whatever. I mean, my go-to move now that I was able to use in at Masters or World at Masters, it's kind of an offshoot of a move that he does and that
Mm-hmm.
he saw someone do and he kind of brought back and said, hey, Alia,
Gotcha.
like,
Look, like we got a move for you.
yes, yes,
I
it was it was
get that.
yeah, and it was one of those like, we're gonna have to figure it out, but
Mm.
you just trust me. And at first I was just like, this doesn't feel right. This is really weird. Like, and then I have to use my chest to kind of push in,
Mm-hmm.
drive, and I was like, I don't think it's working. And then I
This
looked
feels
down,
weird.
yeah, and then I looked down, and the guy, my friend that I'm doing it, he's just like, it's working, it's working.
Yes.
I was like, okay, like what this is,
Okay.
yeah.
I
So
okay. I like that. I I'm not gonna lie, my reasons have been purely selfish of why I wanted to get flow grappling is because I know they do IBJJF,
yes,
which
and
I
you
like, and you can go look at your matches. So I did American Opens last summer, they did nationals, And I didn't realize till after one of my friends was like, "Oh, we're watching you." I was like, "What do you mean you're watching me?" Like, Tori, it's like, "Oh shit, you can see me."
Yeah.
So I have, we don't get that many matches. We normally get like, if we're lucky during our division, we get 2-3 matches, and open weight, that's whatever.
Yeah.
At nationals, I had both my divisions had people in it, so I think I had like 2 matches in each or 3 in gi and no gi, but the open was like a 17 girl bracket. So like I had like 4 or 5 matches. So like
Yeah.
within these 2
10 of us,
days,
10 of us
yeah.
at Masters, I had 4 matches.
Yeah.
To a couple of the other girls only had like 3 because they
Yeah.
got buys. There was
Yeah.
quite a few buys, but even then, I mean, 4 matches. I was
That's
stoked.
awesome.
I was so excited.
So that was those 2 days. Through those 2 days, I had like 9 matches, which is the most I was dead after. But like, I was like, oh my God, I need to watch all of this because my sister recorded on her phone, but something happened where it's like they're partially recorded, not really through. At least there I can see with the point count, so you can kind of see what happened. So that has been the only reason.
Sometimes, because like there's one match of mine from Vegas that like it caught us about a minute or 2 in. Like,
I gotcha.
It missed. It just depends on the table person. Honestly, that's who starts it. So it caught us like a couple minutes in, and then like you could see the ref giving points, but my points weren't shown.
Okay. It didn't
So
click.
the way the way it happened with us is people that stayed behind at our gym, they actually had not like an open mat, but they put up the TV and the laptop, and they
Gotcha.
had come to watch those that couldn't go to
Gotcha.
Vegas. And it, I mean it's cool because then your teammates get to sit there and cheer you on.
Yeah.
Virtually, but still.
I'm probably gonna end up buying it in like the next week or so.
And
I actually just broke.
Sort of like play, like roll, like going over tape and stuff like that, like football stuff like that.
Yes.
That's a real thing. That is a real thing, and it helps.
I have video from most of my matches, and what I like to do is every now, like I want to say, a couple weeks ago, I had like the anniversary of my first match, and I put it on my Instagram as like my first white belt match, and like I remembered what I thought it was like. Oh yeah, I just remember getting like flipped on my head in the first couple seconds by this girl who's like 5'2", 5'3", and I went back like, yeah, that's exactly what happened. And I'm looking at myself, I'm like, oh God, what was I thinking? Like I got like. I have a very weird body type where like I'm thick all over. I'm a thick girl, but I have a very, very small torso and I'm all legs and arms. So I'm really like inflatable tube. I'm kind of, the thickness like gets away with it, but like even when I'm a lot smaller, I'm real gangly. So my first match, I'm thinking I'm like 24-ish at that time. So I still have the chunky baby cheeks. My hair is braided into like 2 pigtails, which are braided back. My belt is like, I didn't gain weight, so the belt, it gets a little shorter now. But at the time, my belt's like super long. I have like all of my gym, grappling master. I'm like all decked out. And I'm just like looking at me like, oh, you knew. And I'm looking at myself like, I get tossed and just like, whoa, legs go over here. And like, I'm looking like, oh, she got my arm. Yep, could have got an arm bar there. And just like, I like to look at stuff like that. So I have those whole matches that I've never seen. So I'm like, am I really about to buy this? Am I really about to spend $150-ish to watch these 9 matches? I'm like, I am. So
it's not just those 9 matches. It's those 9 matches and any in the future.
Yeah. And so I just broke down and bought,
other reason enough too is you can catch some other
yeah
really cool matches. There's a documentary on there. They do documentaries too. The Daisy Fresh documentary is really cool. Like really cool. Like I about that gym already a little bit, but watching the documentary, just like, man, these people, like, dedication, straight up dedication.
Like you said before, it would be nice to go and like look at some other big girls or higher level to watch their matches.
Yeah.
So I'm like I'm going back and forth, but like I know I finally broke down and bought Fight Pass. which like on principle, I just refuse. And it's only like $10. I was like, I'm not getting another subscription. And I got bored. And I've literally been watching like hours and hours of fights.
Yes.
And it's great for like, since the UFC has accumulated so many other libraries, I'll pick like a fighter and I'll go through their whole thing. Like I went through all of Jose Aldo, all of Cyborg, all of like Daniel Cormier and you see the progression of each person. I was like, I could do that with jiu-jitsu the same. So I think I'll end up getting it.
Yeah, that's how I on Instagram first, aside from looking up the big girls BJJ, I just started asking around like who are the women, because all I knew at the time Buchecha.
Yeah. Like,
my
who are the big people? Where the big people at?
my future second ex-husband always I joke all the time and I say that he's my future second ex-husband, but he's like the first jiu-jitsu that I actually like competitor that I watched tape, like on.
Yeah.
And at the suggestion of my coach. And I was just like, as a big boy, and he moves like he's
Yep.
a featherweight. Like he just moves so. And then even Felipe Pena and like all the heavyweight guys. But then it was like, well, where are the girls?
Where the ladies?
Yeah, like we're the black belt heavyweight ladies. And then you get your Gabbies and your Claudia and your Nati and Tiani. And it was like, okay, yes, like
all right.
But I wanted to also see the brown belts and the purple belts.
See that next level of people.
Yeah.
I will agree that idea I do like. What's really what's really funny though is like the top woman in jiu-jitsu. She Claudia, she's super heavy, and she came and did a seminar when she was in Florida. She like went around to a bunch of gyms. So I have a picture with her, and I was sitting there. I showed my mom's like, we're in the same weight class. She's like, shit. I was like, no, we're in the same weight class.
Yeah.
And that's when I tell people like, okay, this like. I always joke around and say like, look, this super heavy life ain't for everybody, but don't think that these smaller girls in the division don't have a benefit, because they definitely do. Like that,
there's 2 matches in my entire competition lifetime. One where I went to the I can't remember the organization, but I went to the tournament. I didn't have anybody, and then this other girl who, I mean, gosh, Moni's like maybe like 5'2", 5'3", and she didn't have anybody in her division either. And we just kind of agreed. Both of us just kind of agreed. This was her first tournament after being gone for so long and not competing. So we both kind of agreed to like do an open class.
Yeah.
And she was an adult because she's so much younger. And then of course I was, considered like a master. So like a grown up division. So we go into it. And she gave me one of the toughest matches.
Yeah.
Because I folded her like a lawn chair and still couldn't pass her guard. Like, it's so crazy. I mean, I wore her like a backpack at one point. It was like, and she totally won out. I mean, we went all the way through, like all the way, and just back and forth on trying to get past her legs, and her spider guard was just killer. And and then what was crazy is she was part of the team that when I go to San Antonio, if I'm not at Sway School, then and this is before I even really knew the BTT school, where the BTT school was in San Antonio. And anytime I go to San Antonio, I would always go to Sway's because that was, I was always there.
Yeah.
And so she's a part of Ohana, and when I'm not there, I'm over there. Because
gotcha.
I girls and geese there and met all the Ohana ladies. Super cool and super friendly. And I dig that. I dig the good vibes. So I'm gonna go where I have fun and there's women who like to shop and also to have fun, eat tacos. So,
yes, tacos.
Yeah. So she gave me one of the best matches I've ever had in my lifetime. Like in all my tournaments, heavies or not or whatever. Then there's another one, and we joke around and we call it our yearly open class IBJJF. um, and we've met twice now, and the
Mm-hmm.
same. I think I think Cassidy's like medium heavy. If
Mm-hmm.
correct, I think she's medium heavy, and she is amazing. She
Mm-hmm.
kills it at her weight class, and then in absolute she kills it too. And it is so much fun to have matches with her because it challenges me at her body shape and her weight. It challenges me
Mm-hmm.
just how I fight and how I compete. Because I'm not one to really go into a competition like I have a plan. I have a little bit of a, like,
Yeah,
okay,
yeah.
I'm gonna do this, but I don't have like I'm gonna do this to make this happen to in order for this to, I don't really, or
I
like
am
I don't,
that person.
yeah. See, and
I'm
I'm
a
not.
chain.
I don't go into it like I'm gonna do leg locks in this tournament or I'm gonna do wrist locks. I don't. I just kind of you'll see like I'm either dancing in the bullpen most of the time,
Mm-hmm.
bullpen, and then when we get to the edge of the mat, I'm like laughing and smiling
Yeah.
and hugging people, and it just grateful to be there. But it's a tournament. It's not
Mm-hmm.
to me. It's not life or death. It's I'm there to have fun, and
Mm-hmm.
these women that decide to step on the mats with you, I think going from not having anybody to now having opponents, it's like I'm so grateful for them. I am so grateful that they agreed to be,
Yeah.
fight. So yeah, she's another one too. Cass is another one that they're
Yeah,
smaller.
well, see, that's where I always kind of got annoyed, like being a bigger person. Like, well, clearly, like I am not gonna lie and say that my weight does not come in and like doesn't help. It definitely helps, but also there is a disconnect. Like, I don't believe that being big does not mean you're strong. I
True.
am big and I have no upper body strength. This shit's terrible.
Yeah.
But also like this idea that if the biggest person always won, I'd win every match, and I don't.
Right.
Because like to be honest, I've never competed with someone my size. I've had some who were like close,
Yeah.
like height wise, like thickness wise, but like I know I got at least 15 pounds on them or something like that. I've had a couple recently that it's been a little bit more balanced, but like I know I'm at the top, like not just being bigger, just being taller. Like I knew I was one of the bigger girls.
Yeah.
But I do some of the there was this one time I go down to Miami before they had them in Orlando. Miami was the closest I could go to for matches, and I would go down to Miami, and me and this girl meet. We met in the finals twice, and at this point, it was that blue belt thing where I was the first person on the mat, and then our matches were the end. So I was stuck
Yeah.
there all day,
Yeah.
and we would look at each other, and she's maybe a middleweight, medium heavy. And we would go out there and just kick each other's. I mean, she was a hard roll. And
Yeah.
like at the end, it's like, I think I got it. But like I need glasses and I don't wear contacts. So I'm like squinting. I don't really see. So I'm like,
The
all right, if
point.
she raises my
Yeah.
hand, I won. Um, and
Afterwards, I'm like, okay, well, I'll just. But like,
unless like I'm clearly in control,
yeah.
no idea. But we would what was it? There's I travel a lot because I like to go visit friends, and there's a Marcelo Garcia in Gainesville. There's two girls up there that I would train with. I think Deanna and Erin. Deanna, then did Erin get her brown? But I don't know. But like Erin, at the time we were the same belt. She was tallish like me, but she's much smaller. But she lifted weights. She was a little thick. She had thick legs. I remember going with her and be like, Iggs. She was one of the first people that I went through. It was like we were on the same belt level and everything, where like I really felt like my weight did not matter. We
Yeah.
were we were scrapping, and she was kicking my ass.
Yeah.
But like my whole thing is like, you're gonna at least be breathing hard when we're finished. And we finish, you'd be like,
Yeah.
good job.
Was Cass and I at this last little open, like that was the last absolute match, and it was just like, whoo, man. And then what's funny is the more you compete against each other, right? Like you said, you're in your area, you're in a circle of women competitors, female competitors that you kind of get used to the same crowd.
Yeah.
So people get bumped up. Like I noticed a lot, like we're moving, we're all shifting, right?
Yeah, like you're tentatively a middle heavy, or
Yeah.
we float.
You're a at that white belt, like I always watched white belt matches too, and for the heavyweight women, super heavy women, and I'm like, okay, next time I see them, they're blue belts, but they're only like 20, 22, and you know, I see them in my division, but I'll catch their matches. And it's just, you get in Houston, especially here in Corpus, it wasn't so much like that because I never competed in the Corpus area. I always went to San Antonio, always went to Austin, to Houston. Dallas was always a little too far for me, so I used to cut it off right at Austin. And in those areas, you kind of get to know the same people. And here in this, I live about 45 minutes south of Houston along the coast. So in this Houston area, same thing, Sugarland, Houston, Pearland, Katy, Friendswood, like all these Houston area thing that covers this mass amount, you get to know the same people, you know, as you compete against each other, as you you know, go to the same open mats and go to the same girls and geese events and seminars and stuff, and y'all get to roll with each other. You get used to each other, and that's what I absolutely loved about our open match. Was I remembered some things from before, from our first match. He had a same game plan, but a little bit different game plan. You know, that since I was bigger, and it's just one of those matches that afterwards I was just like, oh man, like that was fun. So I lost, but I had so much fun. I had so much fun.
Well, like, it's I like doing I like going to open mat. I like to go like girls and geese where like you're encouraged to roll with a bunch of people. It's funny because like everyone, girl, we're so far over, but it's okay. This is probably gonna turn into like a 2-part interview, to be honest. Probably get like 2 videos out of this, but I'm having fun talking to you.
Like the questions or anything, I'm so sorry.
But that's what I was saying. We've gotten through everything I wanted to ask. We'll do the other part in a minute. Okay. But I would go through these open mats. I was noticing like women in my group or my whatever, like we'd been around each other, so we've rolled before. But the ones who really were there to like bring it to me and kick my ass were like the girls like 6 to 7 years younger than me.
Yes.
Like those teenagers will be like, they look at me and be like, I'm like, oh, like you ever have like a bold like orange belt come to you? They're like power bun, like let's go. And I'm sitting there like, okay, you know, like whenever it's whenever it's like a huge weight difference and it's someone a lot younger than me, I always start on my I start on the bottom because I'm a top player. Like I'm a stereotypical top player. So I'll start on the bottom and like work our way around. Man, these girls try to do like cartwheel passes. They grind down on you. They'll be knee on belly slide. And then it's like
red cutter across your face.
Girl, and I'm at this, and there comes a moment I'm like, all right, little girl, I know you only 16, but you got one more again to put that elbow on my thigh. And then we're gonna go. they do not care. They treat you like, and there's this part of that I like, because you can tell it's almost like with the younger guys, they just have that like, girl, let's go, but not as hard as the guys go.
The girls.
But I always say like young girls in the sport are freaking crazy.
Yep.
They are insane.
Oh gosh. We have a younger I call him a kid because I think he's like 17, but he just got his blue belt. 16. What is the earliest? 16, right? Earliest age? Yeah. So he just turned, and he all the, not just adults of us, but I mean with the men, grown, roughneck, refinery working, offshore oil drill working men, he hands us our asses, like everybody.
Well, for the kids, it's different because like, you know, some of us, we started jiu-jitsu, you know, in our late 20s, 30s, 40s or whatever. So we get our blue belts. Like technically we're ahead of them by the belt standard. You think this one, because they're just like they're a purple or green belt, not green belt, orange. But they've been doing jiu-jitsu, you know, since they've been in a baby gi. Like they've been doing jiu-jitsu since like 4, 5, 6. So by the time they're 16, really they got 10 years in this game. And then like they will show you so quickly, they're like, nah, bruh. Well, age is just a number.
He's only been training, I think, like 2 or 3 years, I think, or something like that. So, but when I came when I moved here, and initially when I went to this school, I started off as I was just going to drop in and see,
Mm-hmm.
because it was by, but I was actually going to go to like a different school in Houston,
Mm-hmm.
because I was coming from the belt system with Sway to the sister school that Sway had in
Yeah.
Houston, and it was just too far. It was way too
Mm-hmm.
far. And all I needed was 5 days of dropping in here at at school jiu-jitsu, and I felt like I was home. I text my old coach, and I was like, I'm home. I'm home. These
I'm
people
here.
is yeah, this is it. This is it. And it was crazy. And then I saw him, the kiddo, and I was just like, how? Why is he a white? Like, not why is he a white belt, but
Is
that
he really a
how
white
long has
belt?
he been training? Yeah, I was like, how long has he been training? And the most respectful, well mannered, kind,
Good.
like just a
Yeah.
good plays
It's a
Joseph,
good kid. It's a
you know,
good kid.
play kind of thing. Like just a
Mhm.
good kid and super sweet and really funny, but will beat you up
Like a
at
savage
no
also.
dead, like has a constant battery. He just
Oh my
goes,
gosh.
goes. I would love to see him do Muay Thai. Honestly, I think it would be
Mm-hmm.
fun. But yeah, him, and then there's another younger girl at where does she train? I can't remember the name of the school in Houston, but she's I think 13 or 14,
Mm-hmm.
orange belt. Seen her at a couple open mats at Brian's, and so I just kind of like side eye conversation her, and it was side eye watch her like, okay, there's definitely something with this young lady.
Yeah.
I'm
Mm-hmm.
gonna keep an eye on her, and I'm gonna
Yup.
her compete and watch how she progresses, because you see what
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
not that I
you can.
around I can, like, wow,
Yeah,
next.
that's one thing that I can say, like, unexpected byproduct of being as out there as I am. Because when I was younger, I was very much an introvert. I didn't really like to talk to people. I was a band kid. I didn't I'm not even joking. I am night and day difference. I wasn't super, I want to go out and talk to everybody. I had my group of friends that I really just did. I used to get upset when my friends would come to my house because I didn't want anyone in my house. I wanted my own personal space. And they just start showing up and just not telling me. My mom just kept letting them in. And these are people who I've known since, like, one of them, my friend, I'd known since I was like a kid. We went to daycare together. And he would show up at my house like, "Why are you here?" Like, oh. But
Go.
basically, but I was noticing is like, now that I'm a little bit more visible and that I have this little platform, there were girls younger than me watching me compete,
Yes.
or were like, I look at my what's it called on social media, my demographics, my insights and all that stuff. And I was seeing that I had a big younger audience, like younger girls. I was like, oh crap, did I fuck up and become a role model or somebody? I was like, oh no, I didn't ask for that. I don't need that in my life. But there's these younger girls who I was seeing in like competition after competition where like I don't know them. I know, like, you learn the gym, so like I learned a couple of gyms. Like there's a couple of moms who like I met them because their daughter was like, oh, that's the girl from this, and like the mom's like, oh hey, yeah, my daughter loves
Yeah.
you, and that was so weird because I was not expecting. I was expecting women my age like something, but that idea that, again, like, through your exposure through the sport, whether it's gym mom or people following your social media or
Yeah.
following the group, they kind of like how we have people that we geek out over. Like, you low key can become someone like people like when those you had those two articles with Jiu-Jitsu Times.
Yeah.
People were geeking out over you too. It's like, oh shit, she's been doing all this.
That's kind of when. That's honestly kind of when too. I was like, okay, okay. So funny story. I'm sorry. It's totally digress.
You're good.
Avery, Avery was also someone that Jiu-Jitsu Times, actually, the
Yeah.
Jiu-Jitsu Times, I didn't even know existed, but someone that I followed happened to share the article that she had posted about being a new white belt or something like
Mhm.
that, like like it's okay or something. So I have a catalog, and I kid you not, I have a little library catalog of all her articles, every single article she's ever written, because there's one
Awesome.
situation
Yes.
in life. There absolutely is, and so so I shared it
Mhm.
and I tagged her. Because it had her tag in it, and I kind of
Mhm.
reposted it and tagged her, and she was like, "Oh my God, thank you so much." And then
Mhm.
the more I read her stuff, and this is before she was the editor, or I forget what she is now, but this was just when she was one of the writers.
She was getting, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and so I would share more of her stuff and just literally fangirled over her.
Like, oh my God, I read the last article. It was amazing.
Everything she said, and I'd be like, I was going through such a time back then,
Mhm.
and I was just like, I'd cry every day in parking lot because I felt like I didn't know shit. I couldn't do.
Uh-huh.
I could, I just like it was just bad, like
Mhm.
just bad, and it was rough. And then everything else, it was just all. So she would put into words what was going on in my head, and then I'd read her article, and I'd be like,
Yes, this is what I was thinking.
yes, and she gets it. And so I was share, and then she just, I think she happened to send me a message. You were so kind. Thank you so much. You're so awesome. And then it started from there, and we just started kind of chatting off and on. And she saw some of the stuff that I had posted, and about what I was struggling with at the time,
Mhm.
and after the hospitals and ICU, and she sent me gifts while I was in the ICU, like
Oh.
send me when she was still stateside. We would
Mhm.
send back and forth to each other. We never met each other. Like the one time that I had an opportunity to meet her at a fight to win here in Houston, and I happened to be in town, I had plans for something else.
Yeah.
I'm into town, and I couldn't. Like I was willing to go to the airport and go see her, and so I was so excited, but then it was like it just didn't happen. And then she went off to down under, and
Mhm.
it's one of those things. She's gifted my children stuff, like
Oh.
they've gone through that she's dealt with too, and
Mhm.
and she's like, hey, I think this would help her out. It's just stuff like that that
That's awesome.
you link up and you become. And then all through that time, she'd be like, man, one of these days you really need to let me tell your story, and I'd be like,
Mhm. Nah, girl, we good.
nah, we go. Like we get. And she's like, no, no, and no. Oh, I'd just be like, no, like nobody's gonna want to hear about me. Like
Girl,
no,
everyone wants to hear it.
like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like you said, you don't really realize. And then my Instagram at the time, what was funny is my coach at the time was like, hey, you might want to polish up your Instagram because it's public, and my humor is rough.
I love your humor.
Like it's not for kids. I mean,
Yeah, yeah,
if you're cool with your kid being, like I don't really censor music or books or
yeah,
anything
yeah,
like
yeah.
kids are into, even when they were younger. It's just, I don't know. It's just
I got you.
I was very strict as a parent, but I just didn't. I just books and music to me is it's art, and it should be
Mhm.
free, and it should be
Yes.
that kind of thing. So yeah, so I would could be like, why do I need to censor? This is me. If they don't like me, they don't like me. And then the more that I saw, like, gosh, if this is really what I want to do, and then there's like, in the long run, right?
Mhm.
Sponsor things are real.
Mhm.
Waffle House is not going to want to sponsor me if
Yeah.
I'm over there talking about pouring, syrup on things. So I was like,
Or maybe you get a whole other type of sponsor you weren't expecting.
right,
You
right. And I could, and so I was like, man, maybe he's got a point. And then it just got to the point where I was like, you know what, this is me. I'm a real person. It's my story. And then it just happened around the time of masters. I was struggling to try to get that money together to be able to go to masters and stuff. And I had just gotten out of the hospital a few months before that, because my last stroke I had last year, and so it just kind of all hit at once. But I was like, I'll be damned, I'm gonna go to Vegas and
Yeah.
I'm gonna compete. met it back in February or January of that year of last year, and just kind of put it like we said earlier, put it out into the universe. I'm just
Mm-hmm.
gonna speak it and
Yep.
see if it happens and
Yeah.
go from there. And it all worked out, and then her sharing that thing, she was like, you gotta let me, like, just, just I'm gonna
Yeah.
answer some stuff, and from that came, the trip, but also came people that reached out that, like other heavyweight women. That's how I kind of shared a lot of stuff about the Mighty Dames too, because it
Yeah.
was a lot of women that were my age or close to, that were, older and heavier, or heavier in their eyes, and, were training because their husband trained, or because their
Mm-hmm.
kids, and they don't train that much, but they'd like to compete one day, and,
Mm-hmm.
just different stuff. And I got messages left and right, and also from that came the group of people that have had strokes, that
Mm-hmm.
specifically train jujitsu, and that's a whole other group of people.
Yep.
And there's still some are still training, some are struggling to get back to training, some are, and that it just grew from there.
Yeah.
And then meeting people in Vegas, they're like, oh my god, you're that,
Like, I read your story.
I'm like, oh my god, you're so inspired. And I'm just like, "Eh,
And it's like, you're talking about me? Me?
yeah, yeah." And then meanwhile I'm fangirling over them, and I'm just like, oh, like, oh, you're awesome, you're so freaking awesome, like, yeah.
But like, again, that's why it's important to share your story, because like you said, there's this whole community of people who were going through struggles with strokes, being older women that you didn't know about. When I started the Mighty Danes, I just had look, I was the biggest person in my gym. Like, I was just, it was me. And I didn't know any other women in the area. I went to a girls and gi. It was like my first year, and I met Melissa, who's a black belt over here. She's a super heavy too. I'm bigger than her, but like, she was the first bigger. I think she was a brown belt when I met her, but she was the first bigger woman of a higher rank, huh?
Lotion is lotion.
Yeah, she does Pretty Dangerous.
Yes.
She was the the first bigger person who took it. I like to say she took a shine to me, but she showed interest in me, and offered to help me. I always joke that they're like my second family, because I go over there. I try to train there at least once a month. It's been a little dicey these last couple,
Yeah.
clearly, but that was the first time where I was like, oh my gosh, there's a bigger person who's been here. She's a brown belt, but she's been training, and she had a couple kids, so she's been training and not training, but she's someone who's been in this game for a while, and her husband's a black belt, her kid's a black belt, like, they're a jujitsu family, and her husband's an ultra heavy too. They would invite me in to train, and then her group had other bigger girls too. She had like two, three other big girls around, maybe I think they're both, maybe
Like
she
the
has a blue belt and a white belt now.
like the
Huh?
glasses.
Yeah, so it was like, oh God. So like, I have my gym where I get all the training and the technique. I get this I get like that male aggression that I
Yeah.
like to get, but I'm getting it with people I know, so I'm a little bit more comfortable. And then I go to Melissa's, and I get to train with bigger women
Yeah.
specifically, because that's a different feel. So
It's closest feel to, like, not that everybody, when you're drilling and stuff, does like competition mode, but to me that's a very close feeling when you go
mhm,
like that, like when you go to open mats or go visit gyms, to tournaments, to
yeah,
tournaments.
yeah,
Like, that's because, like you said, when you drill with the same folks,
yeah.
and
You learn our
get that.
ticks, and
Yeah, yeah, and they kind of, they catch on to when you're like
yeah.
sleep, and
hmm
yeah,
So yeah, I always say I will always be grateful to Melissa, because not everyone's that open. I mean,
yeah,
that's the other side of jujitsu. Like, we say jujitsu is for everyone, but like, let's not lie. There's a lot of gyms where like, you ain't welcome here,
yeah,
or like, if you're any kind of a competitor too,
yeah.
they don't want you in their gym, whether you're competing or not. And to a degree, especially when it's those really competition heavy schools. Fine, I get it, but I always say, like, when I am welcomed into a gym, In general, I'm a very respectful person. Like, I try to be my most respectful. I follow everything. I'm trying to train with as many people as possible
Yeah.
because I know that I don't ever want to take for granted someone opening up their gym, because it's like they're opening up their home to you.
It is. It exactly. Exactly. Sway. That's how it started with Sway and Sod. I mean, really, besides my coach training there, it started. I met her at a Girls and Geese event. I had never met her before, but then
Hmm.
he had told me like, hey, you're going to this Girls and Geese event in San Antonio. Make sure you go say hi to Sway. Make sure you go
Hmm.
and
That's where I met Sway too, down there. I think that's my first picture with her.
yeah, hit it off, and send a picture to him like, hey, I met her. Look who I met, like that kind of thing.
Yeah.
And they're a military heavy gym.
Hmm.
She and her husband are both former military, retired military, and then a lot of their team. I mean, it's a good chunk of military because the
Yeah.
base is right there in San Antonio.
Yeah. Yeah.
So it was like home. It just
Hmm.
very like home. It was like
Hmm.
home. And he wouldn't even be there. He wouldn't even be training at the time. Like, he's deployed right now. So
Yeah.
still go to the gym. And like you, same thing. I try to go at least once a month, or I try to hit up a tournament, at least once a month in San Antonio, and then I go stay at her house and
Yeah.
pig out and eat, and or anytime there's a Girls and Geese event and stuff like that. And so it's one of those things where you're right. They open up their home to you. Them opening up their gym to you, and you want to be so respectful, but
Hmm.
also you want to roll with other people
You
and
want to
get
get that
to know.
work in.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean, I other than the women at my school that I know are BTT women, and not
Hmm.
a lot of women at my school compete um regularly. Like, they've
Hmm.
competed, but not regularly. And so I did not know any other BTT female competitors. None, none.
Hmm.
No, I mean, I did not know, other than the wives of like the black belts of the
Yeah.
San Antonio schools. So then I dropped into a open mat in Sugarland at Henzo Gracie at Brian Marvin's.
Hmm.
Every Sunday he has open mat. It doesn't matter what you wear, doesn't matter, as long as you're not an asshole. You
Yeah.
come, that type of thing. And so it's I've met so many people, men, women, kids, but just so many people from all walks of life, from all gyms. And I just happened to meet a teammate there that was in for BTT and Humble, and it kind of grew from there. Hey, do you know
Yeah.
so? And I'm like, no, I don't really know her. Go follow her on Instagram. She's amazing. She's a purple
That's
belt.
awesome.
Like, and that's how you kind of network and
Yep.
you meet up with people. And
Jiu-jitsu is a giant network of people. Like,
yeah, yeah.
that's how it. That's
To me, the equivalent of them inviting you, hey, when you're in town, come visit us, come work out,
yeah.
come roll with us, is the equivalent of me saying, hey, come eat dinner at my house.
Hmm.
Let's dinner with my family and I.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. It's the same. It's awesome.
Well, since I'm not going to be competing this year, I just don't think I will be. I told Sway this a while, like I'm trying to get to Texas this year. I hope it's still possible to get to Texas. So I will definitely let you know. I'm gonna we'll see how things work out, and if there's like a maybe if there's like a girls and gi in the area, I'm gonna try to come down for that. Since
You can always halfway in Louisiana.
hey,
I mean, it's somewhat halfway, but
somewhat halfway, yeah. But
yeah.
we that's the other downside is we were planning to do some meets, some group settings for the Mighty Dames this year, which we might have to push to next year. We were gonna do something at Worlds, which I'm so sad because every year that I've had the Mighty Dames, I've gotten a bunch of messages like, "Where are you? We are here. We're waiting for you." I was like, "I have to work." I was like, "I'm not a master. I can't go. Like, I have stuff to do. I can't go." But
With some of
I
us, still met up a little bit. We were able.
yeah. Whenever I get like little pictures, or I see people.
Yeah.
I think the very first one.
And yeah, I tried to tag you in as many. I'm like, we had to go,
Yes, it makes
and I
me
was
so
like,
happy.
all the. If you're a heavyweight, I was like, if you don't want to be recognized, fine, but just still, or if you
Yeah.
identify as heavyweight, I was like, please
Yes.
be in our picture.
Oh God, there's nothing that makes me smile more than like I see people who I've never met like wearing the shirt and like taking pictures together. Like we had a girl in Florida in California who had met together at Worlds and like had the Mighty Dame shirt on, taking a picture together. There was a girl from Gee.
Canada.
Huh?
Liz Fawcett had come to train in Canada. She came from Canada. She was down for a work trip, and she came to visit my gym. I remember she posted it in the Mighty Dames group.
Yeah.
And had said it wasn't the public page. It was the group.
The group. Yeah.
Yeah. And so she had posted, hey, any Mighty Dames in Texas, specifically Corpus Christi.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be in town for whatever. It was like about 3 years ago. I think like
yeah.
And so and she came to roll and
yes
came to roll with us, and my team thought it was awesome because they were like,
yes.
oh, look, this your size, you can roll with her. And then when she rolled with them, they were just like, whoa. She's a tough cookie too, and she was only there for that one night because she was there for a conference, but stuff like that. We took the picture, and it was like when dames meet from Canada.
Yes, I remember that picture.
Yeah.
Well, see, that's one of the things that those events like that's just what made us. The website, I keep saying it's almost done, but it actually is almost done. My map got completely messed up, so I had to redo it from scratch. But we have the Dame locator map. It's so like we have, I think right now we got like 45 schools on there. So if you are going to Texas and you like look around, like, okay, where are these people? Like, oh, okay, well, she's here. Let me go there. And part of that reason is because we all travel for different reasons. And like for me, I love to go and try other gyms, but it can be a little intimidating just walking into a local gym. At least this way you can be like, not only is there someone I kind of know, but at least I know they're kind of bigger. So I don't just have to be the only big person at a new gym now.
And you know that they're going to be there because that's part of it too, is you show up and you're just like, there's maybe 5 people here.
You're like, I guess I can't do this. Okay, so since we've gone over like 2 hours of this conversation, this is definitely
so bad. But
oh God, I'm not doing anything. I've had a blast talking to you.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get to that. I'll ask you about the strokes, and I'm like, and then.
Girl, but this has been fun because we got, like, I'm not even joking. We got to every question I wanted to get to, but it didn't feel like a stop, go. I prefer a flow better than not there's anything wrong with that style, but I like to have conversations over interviews. So what we are going to do is I'm setting up my timer.
What I used to do for my corporate job previously, like this is what I did for 15 years. I was a corporate trainer, a facilitator. Okay. So stood up in front of people, taught them stuff, and talked and talked to large groups of people sometimes. And so this is, I'm the way you say that you are the introvert type of. I've always been the, I never meet a stranger, walk right in. And I'm the one that walks right into the gym, whether I know anybody or not. And I'm like, hey, how's it
going? A combination of jujitsu and my job has pushed me because I started my job. I'm a volunteer coordinator, like a volunteer community coordinator. So I was in charge of like 65 volunteers, and I covered 3 counties. And like I'd have to go to like Kiwanis clubs and women. I have to go get these presentations about our program, and you'd have to. So I still get a little nervous from time to time, but you just have to. I got used to talking, and through jujitsu, you just see everybody. And my teammate Rita, she is like, oh God, how do I explain this woman? She's like a ball of energy and positivity. So
I like to call us forces of nature, man.
Oh, she is definitely a force. And if you ever come to Florida, you will meet this force of nature. So she's like a person who, like, I don't know if it's like, I don't know what it is, but she doesn't really do the whole I'm not comfortable thing. So like when I first started out, like that first Girls and Geese that I went to, she literally had me by my jacket. She's like, hey Tori, come on, we're gonna go meet them. I'm like, hi, I'm Rita, this is Tori, we're from Grappling Master. Who are you? Where do you? So she was like on her game, and she literally like drugged me from spot to spot. She's like, have you met Tori? Hey, da, 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 da. So from her, I kind of learned, like, you know what? A lot of these people are just as nervous as you. Just introduce yourself, and like everyone opens up instantly. So I got used to that, but like
That's kind of how I turned. Honestly, that's not what led me to the ambassador stuff with girls and geese.
Yeah. Oh, so you're ambassador too?
In training still. It just
Gotcha.
happened, kind of fell all in the during the
Yeah,
time.
yeah.
But yeah, it was. I was going to these girls and geese events. I had been to pretty much all the ones between San Antonio and Houston. And I get there early, help set up because too it was sway a lot of times, and it was girls like in Corpus. It was sway was coming down, and then girls from the valley that I knew were coming, and then it was at the Gracie Baja school that was there in Corpus, so I kind of knew some of them, and then I was like trying to get girls from Corpus to
Mm-hmm.
come like this is I'm only in town for this day, so y'all come visit me, like, and it just so
Yeah.
happens we're also gonna roll like.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So it turned into and same thing with Yasi. I had met I met Yasi at a tournament, and then just kind of started following her, and then she got involved with Girls and Geese, and I started seeing her at the Girls and Geese stuff,
Mm-hmm.
and I was helping set up, I was helping tear down, just kind of because I mean, it was just habit. It's
Yeah.
just habit. Whether it's your gym or somebody else's gym, you help mop, you kind of help pick
Yeah.
up, kind of. So that's how I think that's kind of how it turned in because I was
Mm-hmm.
just volunteering and I was just kind of helping, but not really because I wanted to be an ambassador, but more just
Like, I'm
hey,
here. Let me go and
yeah,
be of use.
yeah. What do you got in the car? What do you need to take down? What do you need to like that kind of thing? I think poor Shama. Shama was because I knew Sway, but I had only met Shama like once or twice at Sway South. So then Shama was like, "Who is this? And what is she doing?" Like,
Who's this person around us?
yeah.
I it's funny. So I've been to all of the ones in Florida. And they had one on my birthday a while back. I came with like a tiara and everything. I was like, I'm gonna do it. And it was in my town. So it was really close. It was at the other gym in my town. So I was like, oh, well, we're gonna go. I'm gonna go. It's gonna be my birthday. I'm having my happy birthday tiara. We're gonna do this. So I remember theirs when I met Slay. She's like, you should just be an ambassador. You should just go ahead and get in there. I was like, well,
Yeah.
I'm already always here. Like, I'm gonna be at all of these. And it's like, yeah, maybe I could do this.
Like how she doesn't really ask.
No, she gently suggests.
Yes. Yeah.
Slash tells you.
Sway, if you're watching, we're on to you.
Oh yeah, yeah. She's like,
yeah, it was the same. She was right from that time that I she was like, hey, so you're gonna be an ambassador and you're gonna help me at this one and run this. You can help with the table, and I was like, what?
okay.
What? and then right around that time, Shama was leaving, and then Sway was picking up the ambassador program, and I was like, so. I was like,
I do need to be a better ambassador because I forget to check my email all the time.
same.
I'm just terrible at it.
I showed you a picture. I have like 34,000 emails unread.
Girl. Yeah.
Accounts, and I
need to get back on it.
And then on top, but like she's real good. She'll remind me like, hey, you need to go do this, or hey,
Yeah.
remind me. So
she'll shoot you a message like, Tori, do this. Like, oh, sorry, I'm on it now.
Yeah, and I the same thing. Right around that time, I was working. Well, when we had talked the last time, and I had gotten off of work, I was helping out my brother-in-law rebuild floors, and I was learning new at the time. And since I wasn't really training and not doing any type of
exercising,
that was my exercise. And so they I think they were gonna do the what is it, the
don't rush.
Yes,
yeah.
And I saw it and I was like, I don't know, my gi's gonna fit. I had not tried on my gi, and I wasn't sure if it was gonna fit. So shortly after, I there was a deal on that BJJHQ, and I found a really like simple Fuji gi, and I was like, okay, I know this will fit me. Order it and see. And I tried it on, and then I totally forgot. Like, oh crap! I also need to try on my belt. Like, I don't even know. I was like,
yeah, those belts, that little black bar gets closer and closer.
Yeah, and I like mine. Like, I have a day-to-day belt kind of, like I have the belt that Sway promoted me with.
Yeah.
But I actually was able to when I went to Vegas, I was actually able to finally find and talk to someone from Fuji to
Yeah.
like the harder belts, the
Mm-hmm.
hard roll. I forget what material it is, but it's that hard one.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I had been going back and forth on the Fuji website, couldn't get the size, the A5 in that specific belt. Every time I would try and I had placed the
It'd be
order, and it would
gone.
go all the way through. But then when I would go to finalize, it would say it was out of stock instead of
Yeah.
out of stock like beforehand. So I was getting super frustrated. Well, then we were walking through to go watch a black belt match, and I see the Fuji vending little area, and I was just like, ah.
Like, hold up, let me go check with them.
Yeah, and then I go and I see their little rotating little thing of belts, and I'm like, man, of course they didn't have my size,
Of
and I'm
course.
like, dude, and he goes, what size you looking for, hon? He was like an A3. I was like, you're cute, but
Like,
no.
cute. Like, man, look at me. Don't
Yeah,
lie.
so I was like, oh, I was like, you're cute. No, I was like an A5 or an A6, and he's kind of like, what? And I said, I like for mine the way I not do my knot.
Mm-hmm.
I my belt sits like I like for it to sit like that, like
Mm-hmm.
for it to sit with the little ends
Yeah.
so many inches down. It's just how
You
for
have a particular way you
yeah
want your belt.
for day to day
Yeah.
it's for tournaments, and the way I knot my belt, I've never had my belt come apart, come off,
Yeah.
or everything else will be
Girl, the
half.
gi is like up here, your bras and your rash guard. Like, yeah.
Yes, yes. It'll be everything else, but the belt's still there holding on.
Yeah.
And so yeah, so I'm like looking, he was just like, gosh, we don't have any. And then another guy came around and he goes, he goes, let me go check. He goes, we have a van out there. He goes, we have some stuff that's out there that let me just go check. So he
Mhm.
runs out and he comes back, wait a little bit, and he comes back and he came back with an A5, the tweet that hard,
Yeah.
like beautiful dark blue, not the baby blue, but that
Oh,
dark.
yeah. You're like, I want
Yeah.
it.
I was
It's
like,
mine.
oh, and then
Can
it
I
was
buy
cheaper in person
it?
there than on
Mm-hmm.
the site. So it
Yup.
paid shipping. So I was like, I got space in my suitcase.
There, we could roll this bad boy up.
Yeah, and let me go ahead and get another gi while I'm at it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like I have my belts are a little bit lighter, so I have the belt that I got promoted with, which is my gym belt, which I kind of keep for it's my backup belt. I keep that
Yeah.
one in the gym, because I forget, but like, and that's like a thicker material. But I like a lighter belt because I like a really hard knot,
Yeah.
and with the lighter ones, you can just like crunch it a little, like they're thin, but like you can like crunch it down. So I got one, and I wanted to get one with like Mighty on it. So I got one that was inscribed, and like it's funny that like even now when I go to competitions, I'm like half and half where I'll do competitions by myself. Like I'll just go somewhere and do one, or I'll do them with our team. But like at a team competition, I don't tie my own belt. My coach ties my belt for me. Um,
Really?
always. Oh, always. Like since my first one. And even now as a purple belt, I go right up to him, I hand him my belt, and I like do this. I let him because he has like the best ties. So and the guys just give me so much crap about this. Like, oh, is Brian gonna tie your belt? Like, yes, and it's not gonna come undone like yours does. So now other people are starting to have Brian like tie the belt. So I walk up like, oh, look, oh, can you not tie your belt? Like, oh, do you need help? It's just I don't get the angle right all the time, and like I'm at a competition, I don't want to have to worry about it. So like at practice, that thing is barely hanging on. We just shoot good enough. But at competition, it's like one of my rituals. Like he ties my belt at a competition. That's just how it is. I'm gonna be a black belt, still like Brian. I'm up next. Come retie my belt.
Yeah.
And I know, and then I have to have him help me undo it because he ties it so tight. Yeah. And then like it's funny because like the first couple of times he do it, I was like, okay, Brian, look, I got a stomach. You can't go like I need you to loosen up a little bit. I don't need it that tight.
Or under. You either go over or under.
Yes, don't go directly in the middle of my navel.
Yeah.
Like, that's
Yeah.
not gonna. That's not gonna.
Gotta pick at the belly button or under.
I go under. I like my stomach to be under because when it goes over, without a fail, it goes. It sits right under my tits. It's the middle. It just chills there. Yeah. And then it's this weird. The things are open. It's
Yeah,
not a good look for me.
the I love the shape. That's what like artistic wise, like I love the shape of that. You know, those people that fit into like the A2 gis that have the white with the wide broad shoulders, and then that slimmer you know, think like hyperfly gi that's that
Hmm.
slimmer wider at the top and then slimmer in the
Yeah.
middle, and they wear their belt kind of like right on their hip,
Yeah. Like
and
y'all cool ass.
pants are, you know, right above the ankle, like right
Yeah.
ankle.
Like, and
I
they
love
have the thick belt, but it's like it's not super tight. It's just kind of like
kind of,
just resting.
yes, yes, and I love it, but that's not my
No,
aesthetic.
that's not us. That's not us.
I will put my belt down there, but that's just because as I'm moving, I don't want my belt to move up, and it literally will
Yeah.
right under my boobs,
Yep. Yep.
and and I'm like no, and then I've had someone actually while we're rolling grab me by the gi and the
Oh
belt,
yeah.
pull me, and then
Yep.
take my. And I'm just like okay,
Yep.
like so yeah, it's a look, but it's not my look.
I got you. Yeah, no, we have one of the guys at our gym. He just like he's a skinny little thing, so he wears like the higher pants, and he's an athletic type guy. So his belt will like just barely tie. But I'm looking like it's not fair. I want to look cool like that in my. And then it's like me who's like all hips and ass and
Yeah,
arms. I'm like, well, I still cut a nice figure on here. It's like it's okay. I got this.
yeah.
Um,
I always joke when we do nogi. I have a hashtag busted can of biscuits for on nogi now. I'll say like it'll be like hashtag on Wednesdays we wear spats, and then busted can of biscuits because
yo,
and team busted can of biscuits like that is like because it's real. It is
oh,
real.
absolutely.
Like